Hello and welcome to Picture Astrology. In this quick snap video, we will talk about placement of Ketu in the 12th house of the horoscope. Now, this is one of the placement which is generally known to be very helpful when it comes to spiritual pursuits of a person. However, in the physical world, in the material world also, Ketu placed here in 12th house can have a lot of significations. And all of it is not the bed of roses. This placement actually can give lots of desirable and at the same time some complicated situations as well. So in next few minutes we will try to explore the length and breadth of Ketu's effect in this house. And as always, our emphasis will be to understand the practical impacts of the placement and understand things which you can see in your day-to-day lives because of this Ketu. And towards the end of the video, we will also talk about some of the easy ways in which this Ketu's energy of 12th house can be utilized in a positive way. So first of all, 12th house has a very diverse signification range. It includes extreme sensual pleasures to the renunciation of the physical world. So basically 12th house can show a lot many different things. And in all Sanskrit text, Ketu is called as Moksha Karaka. Moksha basically means renunciation or attaining enlightenment. And since 12th house also has similar significations of renunciation and enlightenment, Ketu's placement in this house is considered a big boon for spiritual progress. Now here, as we have discussed in the initial video of Rahu Ketu series, especially about how to predict Rahu Ketu, that Rahu and Ketu basically act as a catalyst. They can enhance the inherent promise of the horoscope in a very big way. So many people, when they see Moksha Ketu in 12th house and start talking about this being a sign of a very spiritual horoscope, must first take into consideration this catalytic effect. So yes, Ketu in 12th house can show a person who can have an ability to be highly spiritually evolved, but at the same time, don't forget that 12th house deals with all kind of sensual pleasures also. And Ketu in 12th house can show extremity of this kind as well. And the spiritual aspect or the more magnanimous aspect of Ketu will be more pronounced if 1st house, 9th house and Jupiter are well placed. This is a very important condition because when these conditions happen, then it shows a person or a horoscope which could be truly as well as willingly inclined towards higher truth or truth which are found in the spiritual realm and beyond the physical world. And even in that case, it doesn't mean that this Ketu will hinder the physical prosperity. No, if the horoscope has a good promise of wealth and prosperity, then the Ketu here shows that person will spend that money in a very good way. He will spend the money for the greater good of society and for helping others and not just himself. See, because another big significance of 12th house is it is the house of expenditures. It shows all kind of expenditure, not just monetary and wealth, but also the ways in which life energy, life forces are spent. It shows where you waste your time. So in a strong horoscope, this Ketu will definitely show that person spends a lot of time in search of higher truth, in search of spirituality, and wouldn't mind spending money on others. So this Ketu will give a rather magnanimous disposition to a person. And one very easy way to find out if this Ketu is going to, or at least currently working, to give you spiritual progress is to find out what kind of thought comes in your mind when you are in solitude, when you are alone. Sit alone and quietly just by yourself for 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and see what kind of games your mind or emotions are playing with you. What kind of thoughts are coming in your mind. And that will be a very good indicator of the 12th house placement of Ketu. And the reason being, both 12th house as well as Ketu can have great impact on your emotions. And 12th house, among other things, is also the house of solitude. It shows going away from the physical world. And that going away from the physical world can manifest in multiple ways. It can manifest in going to a ashram or a temple, or being in meditation, or sitting alone, or in worst cases it could even mean some kind of bondage like prison. So the kind of thoughts and the emotions which you generate when you are in complete solitude will give you a great indicator of how the Ketu here is behaving. Now, in a horoscope which is not so spiritually inclined, the Ketu here can show unnecessary expenditure or spending of money. Now, there are various reasons why this could happen. If the 6th lord, which basically shows problems with law and order, is involved with it, and 9th lord is weak, then expenditure could be because of fines from the government. You should better watch out about your finances and pay tax on time. Don't drive too fast. Watch out for traffic tickets or speeding tickets, because fines and punishment could be one of the reason for expenditures. And especially when, say, moon is little weak in the chart, then Ketu in 12th house can show some or the other kind of escapist tendency. It can give tendencies of avoiding problem, not facing the problem head on and just trying to escape it by various different means. And sometimes in a horoscope which is not strongly spiritual, going to temples or going to ashrams or going to synastries, they could be just a way to escape your daily life or escape from some or the other kind of problem which you are facing, rather than a true desire for spiritual advancement. And this Ketu, especially in the weaker horoscope, can show that. Another thing which generally happens in Eastern cultures is people with this placement of Ketu can keep on changing their spiritual gurus. They can, or they tend to, in their quest to find knowledge, go from one guru to another guru and to another guru. And if especially moon is weak, they can end up spending a lot of money in that too. Ketu here in this 12th house can also show spending a lot of money on some or the other kind of religious rituals. And again, as I said, this generally tend to happen more in Eastern culture, but it can also manifest in ways of not being firm with one ideology. It can show, following one system, one guru, and then changing to some other system or some other guru. And those frequent changes can cause some losses, including monetary losses to the individuals as well, especially when the moon and 9th lord are afflicted in the chart. But one thing is for sure, Ketu in 12th house, at some or the other point of time, definitely spark some or the other kind of quest for some higher truth. And as I discussed in the video earlier, that the reason for that could be very different for different individuals. It is also very conducive for learning of occult sciences, including astrology, and also having some or the other kind of outwardly experiences. And as I said, Ketu can show a kind of escapist tendency, plus in a stronger horoscope, 12th house Ketu shows foreign travel a lot, and success in foreign countries is also easily possible, again if 12th lord is well placed and 9th lord, which shows your destiny and luck, are well in your chart. Now, one of the very good remedies for Ketu's placement here is doing some or the other kind of charitable donation. Now this amount of donation need not be big, however small it is, it doesn't matter, but just doing some or the other kind of donation at a periodic time, and also observing your thoughts when you are alone and in solitude, which I described earlier in the video as well, can give you great hints about how this Ketu is functioning in your life, and which part of the spectrum from sensual to spiritual realm, that spectrum which we discussed in the beginning, you can easily sense on which side this Ketu is pushing you. So friends, this was my quick analysis of Ketu in 12th house. Thank you so much for being with me. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope to see you again soon with another interesting set of practical observations from the treasure chest of Vedic astrology. Thanks again.